At 2:08 a.m., New York believed the earth had split open, but the ground wasn't moving. The harbor was. However, this was no ordinary explosion. 2 million pounds of ammunition were stored there. If you care about the history they don't teach, firefighters believed the worst was over. But what happened next changes everything. Yet at 2:48, it happened again. Fragments flew across the harbor. Some struck the Statue of Liberty. Officials called it an accident. Do you believe that? The explosion wasn't just heard. It was felt for miles. Yet the blast didn't just damage buildings. It terrified thousands of immigrants. Officials first called it an accident, but investigators weren't so sure. Although America was still neutral in World War I, the munitions were bound for Russia, and Germany had motive. It wasn't random, and it wasn't isolated. By 1916, German sabotage networks were already operating inside America, but no arrests followed. No public accusations. The case slowly disappeared. 23 years passed. Then the truth resurfaced. It wasn't an accident. It was sabotage. The torch was damaged that night. It has never reopened. Although America was neutral, the war had already begun. The explosion ended. Smoke covered the harbor. The destruction slowly appeared. No one knew what exploded. Then investigators searched the debris and found something. Records revealed the truth. This wasn't normal cargo. It was explosives. The focus shifted fast. One barge stood out, loaded with explosives. One worker saw something. Minutes before the blast, a boat fleeing the island.
What are you two doing out here?
Workers saw small fires. Nothing seemed dangerous until it was too late. When investigators arrived, they searched through miles of wreckage. Some believed the blast wasn't an accident. A theory formed quickly. What if this wasn't random, but sabotage? In 1916, America was neutral, but weapons left New York, feeding a distant war. Germany knew the shipments. Stopping them became a mission. A hidden war began. The headlines spread fast. The nation was shocked, and questions began. Then a name appeared. A man inside America, a German agent. The name led investigators to something bigger. A network of operatives already inside America. Some agents weren't hiding in shadows. They were working in plain sight, inside the docks themselves. Reports revealed a pattern. Sabotage had already happened across America. This wasn't one attack. It was a hidden war, already inside America. Hours before the blast, small fires were already burning, but no one understood what they were touching. Workers tried to put it out, but water couldn't stop what was about to happen, and it only made things worse. The explosion would leave a crater over 375 feet wide, but the damage reached far beyond the island. At 2:08 a.m., it reached the TNT point 50 tons, waiting. At 2:08 a.m., it detonated. In 1 second, everything was gone. The blast hit the city. Buildings shook. Glass shattered everywhere. The explosion registered like a 5.5 magnitude earthquake. It was felt as far as Philadelphia. Then came silence. The damage was everywhere, but the truth was hidden. When the smoke cleared, people were missing. Some never made it out of the island alive. Even Ellis Island had to be evacuated. Thousands fled, unsure what had just happened. Officials quickly called it an accident, but not everyone believed that explanation. But the evidence didn't match the story. Was this really an accident or something planned? Days later, investigators found something buried in the reports. A name connected to German intelligence. The reports described how sabotage was done. Small fires. Time to reach explosives hours later. Records later confirmed sabotage operations across the U.S. Black Tom wasn't the only target. The conclusion became impossible to ignore. The Black Tom explosion was an act of war, and America didn't even know it yet. Even after the evidence, the government stayed quiet. No official accusation. No immediate response. America had just been attacked and did nothing. Why would they stay silent? What would you have done? Official reports repeated the same story. An accident caused by fire. The truth was simple and dangerous. America wasn't ready for war, and admitting the attack could change everything. The explosion faded, but the tension didn't. Something had changed beneath the surface. More reports followed. Sabotage wasn't stopping. It was spreading. By 1917, everything changed. America was entering the war. Years later, the truth finally surfaced. The Black Tom explosion was part of the war all along. America had been attacked before it even joined. The case didn't end in 1916. It stayed open for years. Eventually, the U.S. demanded accountability. This time, the evidence couldn't be ignored. In 1939, the ruling was final. Germany was held responsible. Decades later, Germany agreed to pay for the damage. But the explosion had already changed history, and its impact could never be undone. Today, almost no one remembers Black Tom, yet it was one of the first attacks on U.S. soil. For decades, it was hidden in reports and archives. A real attack, almost erased from memory. Before Pearl Harbor, before 9/11, America had already been attacked. If you want more forgotten stories like this, subscribe for the next one. History has more secrets waiting. But the explosion didn't just destroy buildings. It changed how America saw war forever. Black Tom wasn't the only attack. There were others most people never heard about. Some records survived, but many details were never fully revealed. And if one explosion could be hidden, what else in history still is? Even after the ruling, questions remained. Who else was involved, and how far did it go? Evidence hinted at something larger. A network, operating quietly across the country. Some names were recorded. Others disappeared from history. But one thing was clear. Black Tom wasn't just an explosion. It was a warning. America didn't fully understand. What happened at Black Tom wasn't just destruction. It was a message. It showed something America wasn't ready to face. War could reach home. But history didn't tell it that way. For years, it remained just an accident. Now, you know what really happened. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Today, nothing marks what happened here. The harbor looks exactly like any other day. History remembers the big moments. But some of the first warnings are forgotten. But the truth is still there, hidden beneath the surface of history. The explosion wasn't an accident. It was an attack, hidden in plain sight. The fires, the explosions, the silence. It all connects. All that remained were fragments. Pieces of a story few ever saw. And yet, most people still don't know that this was one of the first attacks on American soil. Right now, this place looks peaceful, but history here was anything but. But now, you see it differently, because now you know the truth. The records still exist, but few ever look for them. Some stories are remembered, others are left behind. In 1916, America was attacked, and most people never even knew. The evidence remained, but the story slowly disappeared. History doesn't always forget. Sometimes it's just buried. If you want more forgotten stories like this, subscribe for the next one, because history still has secrets waiting to be found, and some of them are closer than you think.